Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. For those of you who have seen a lot of my other videos on my Rachel Marie channel and you haven't seen the new stuff going on, go check out my last video about out of touch influencers because I go into more depth about my plans with my content moving forward if you're curious. If you're not curious enough to go check out that video, just know that I'm playing around with a second channel where I will post yappier content like this one that you're about to watch. But for now, I'm still collaboration posting across both channels to kind of get eyes on the new one and see how it does, see if it's something I want to pursue long term. So if you haven't checked out that new channel yet, please go check it out. It's called Rachel's Yappuccinos. Welcome back to another Yappuccino session. The whole point of the name is like we drink coffee together and just yap about stuff. And I completely forgot in the first episode to even acknowledge that I have my coffee here. I figured it'd be fun to be like, what are you drinking? I'm drinking this in each episode. And I completely forgot to do that in the first one. But today I'm drinking a cookie butter latte and I actually haven't tried it yet. So a little bit of lore. If you haven't seen, I did recently upload a video where I tried to make a cookie butter latte at home because there's this place in Portland that I love that makes such good cookie butter lattes, and I was trying to recreate it. It was kind of a flop. It was my second try too, and it was still kind of a flop. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sad. But then after I made that video, my husband kind of figured out the secret. I was just melting the cookie butter by pouring the hot espresso on it and stirring it in, but he melted it before he added it to it. And somehow that made a world of difference in his latte. But this is my first time trying it myself in today's latte and I haven't tried it yet. So let's just get a live reaction, shall we? Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Somehow that makes the world of difference. I don't understand. Does anyone know the science behind that? Wow. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. I was really disappointed in that video because I was like, this just isn't what I wanted. It's crazy how you can put the same amount of cookie butter and one of them you melt it ahead of time and you actually taste it and the other one you don't taste it at all. It's so interesting. I don't get it. It's also kind of annoying though because that means I was getting all the same calories of the cookie butter last time but like not tasting it. What? That's so stupid. Well, how does... So I'm going to explain. Anyway, not the point of this video. I'm drinking a cookie butter latte. Let me know what you're drinking in the comments. Today's episode, I'm actually very excited about because I am so passionate about this, as is the point of this new channel and these new videos I'm making. But I just hate the concept of romanticization. It's a weird word to try to say, but I used to try to hop on the train, hop on the bandwagon and get on with it. I realized it's toxic. I actually realized it's not good. It does the opposite of what it's supposed to do. And I'm going to fill you in on why. And if you are coming to this video and you like that concept and you feel like you've done it and it's helped you, hear me out. Okay. Just watch this video. Maybe I can change your mind because yes, there are parts of it that I understand and I feel like do have positive effects, but like for the most part, the whole concept, especially the way that it's taken a turn on social media and the way that TikTok portrays it and TikTok influencers portray it, I think it's actually really toxic and not so good for us.
Romanticize your life, baby, because nobody's gonna do it for you. I think if you want to romanticize your life, you actually need the steps to know that. So I'm gonna give you guys a very detailed list to actually romanticize your life.
They are influencers and it's their full-time job to romanticize their life for social media. I have one main example that I'm going to use as kind of like a case study, but first we're just going to kind of explore this whole concept to start off the video. So just real quick for people, if you live under a rock, sorry, I can say that because I live under a rock. So if you live under a big rock and you don't know what this concept is, when people say they want to romanticize their lives, they essentially want to make the everyday, the mundane things feel magical, I guess. And not just, I mean, mundane, I guess, is one of the things, but just like everyday life, like romanticize everything you do. Romanticize going to work and working your desk job. Romanticize making your coffee at home to save money. Romanticize doing your laundry with the windows open, letting all the sunlight in. I don't know, stuff like that. It's just to kind of make all the little things in your life that maybe aren't so fun, aren't so enjoyable, aren't so magical, more magical. Now, right off the bat, that sounds great, right? And I agree. I mean, to a certain extent, I do like to make my lattes at home because it saves me money, but I also like to kind of romanticize it. I just don't like that word anymore, and I'll get into why because I think of it not nicely. But I do like to romanticize making my lattes at home. I love to journal and romanticize that. But the thing is, the people really pushing this online, the people really pushing you to romanticize your life, they are influencers, and it's their full-time job to romanticize their life for social media. And that's where the toxicity comes in my opinion. And it took me a long time to realize this and realize why I felt like shit consuming this type of content and trying to romanticize my life and feeling like I just can't. It's because these people, their living is made by romanticizing their life. They do everything cute. They go buy fresh flowers every week from the local farmer's market to spruce up their house because they're going to make money off the video that they make of themselves doing that. I can't do that. Flowers are expensive. Fresh flowers every week, I would love. That's expensive. I can't do that. And they benefit financially from making a video about how they made their coffee at home and they sat on their balcony and they journaled for an hour and they just felt so good after, and they lit a candle and they just did all these wonderful, lovely, cute, romantic things, and they make money doing that. That's why they're doing it. Like, as wonderful as that sounds, us normal people just don't have the time in our lives to do those things. And I think that's the part that really frustrated me when I was starting to wake up from this brainwashing of romanticization. I was realizing, which this is interesting because this is one of the things I tell you to do. I was kind of picturing this version of myself that does romanticize all these things and lives this romanticized lifestyle. And I wanted that because you're supposed to like picture what you want and do it, right? So I wanted that and I was picturing it, but I couldn't ever achieve it because I just didn't have the time and I didn't have the energy and I didn't have the money. And that's the thing that makes this so toxic, is all the people telling you that you should do this and showing how wonderful it is. They have all the time and money in the world because they're doing this as their full-time job. They're making money by doing this and promoting this lifestyle. And so to people like you and me who are consuming the content, we're like, oh my God, I want to do that. But then I get home from work and I'm too tired. I don't want to like make my coffee and go get my journal and sit on the couch and do this for an hour. I don't have time to because I have other stuff I need to do that have a higher priority. Or I don't feel like doing a lovely workout on my balcony following, I don't know, one of those really expensive paid workout programs, whatever, using the Ladder app. Everyone talks about the Ladder app lately. Like, I don't have the energy to do that after a long shift where I'm on my feet all morning from 4 a.m. to noon. They don't have to come home from that and then do this. They wake up and they go do it and they film it and they get paid for it. So that's what I mean by it's become toxic, because the people promoting it are able to do it full time because they are supported financially because they're doing it full time, if that makes sense. Whereas people like you and me, who are the target audience, because obviously they're trying to look for people who don't romanticize their life so that they follow them and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to take inspiration. So they're looking for people like you and me, but it's toxic because we cannot achieve what they have achieved without becoming a full-time content creator / influencer who promotes romanticization. That's just the reality. Anyway, little rant over. Let's get into my proof of this. I want to quickly point out an example of someone saying you should just romanticize your life, making content solely based on like romanticize everything. This is a video by a TikTok user named XOXO Dose of Jose, which that's a cute name. I think her name is Josie or something. Anyway, she posted a video recently. Let's just observe. Let's just take in what we're seeing right off the bat before we even watch the video. She's got her hair done really nice. Looks like she probably got a professional blowout, honestly. Hair and makeup is done. She's got her fake nails. She's sitting in her beautiful car that looks really expensive. Look at that sunroof. And she's drinking her Dutch Bros, which I love Dutch Bros, so we're not going to hate on that. And it says 5 things I do to stay girly, happy, and positive. And what is the first one? Let's see. I bet you can't guess.
Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josephine and I love all things girly and just honestly like positivity. So if you want to learn how to romanticize your life, be a little bit more girly, feminine, and free, just keep watching. Romanticize your life, baby, because nobody's gonna do it for you. If you don't romanticize your life, who's gonna do it? Because it's literally your life, girl. At the end of the day, you are living with this body, you are living with your mind, with your soul, with literally everything. But at the end of the day, girl, you're going to bed in your mind, you're getting in your car with your mind. So you have to start romanticizing even the littlest things. If you ever find yourself...
Okay, I've seen enough. We don't need the rest of her tips because that's not the point of this video, but kind of funny. Can we just point out for a second that she says like the title on the screen is like being girly and happy and positive. So like that's apparently what these tips are for. But then she says, as she's introducing, she's like, yeah, these are my tips to like romanticize your life. And then number 1, romanticize your life. Like, okay. But she's telling us to romanticize everything about our lives, right? But here's the thing. Let's go to her profile. 400,000 followers. Now listen, I don't know a lot about the TikTok program and being monetized on TikTok. I know you can only make money from like 1 minute or longer videos, I think. But that Yappy video that we just watched the beginning of was much longer than a minute. And let's see, can I find it? 230,000 views. So I'm sure she made a good buck on that. Seems like her regular videos tend to get 30 to 35K if they do well, and then like 10 to 15K on average for other ones. Again, I don't really know what that means in terms of the monetization side of TikTok, but clearly she's making money on TikTok because she's got 400,000 followers. She also put in her bio Ulta Beauty Collective 25-26, which I also don't know much about Ulta Beauty Collective, but I think that's their event. Yeah, Ulta Beauty World. She went to that. And it's supposed to be for like everyday people, but I watched a video by Kiki Chanel somewhat recently, or maybe that was a little bit older. I can't remember. But it was about Ulta Beauty World and how it's like going downhill. And once again, like everything else, it's becoming a spot for influencers to just like go and flex their wealth and I don't know, just show face and be like, look at everything I have, whatever. So I'm kind of assuming if she was at that, she's probably pretty good. Also, look, the Lilac agency. Okay, so she's signed with an agency. So she's probably pretty well off. Looks like she does this full time. And she's sitting here with the audacity to tell you and me to romanticize our lives. Girl, you get paid to romanticize your life. Don't tell me to romanticize my life when you get paid to do it full time. So that's just one of many examples. Go look it up on TikTok. You'll see, I mean, Instagram too. You will see all of the people out there being like, romanticize your life, romanticize. They make money off of it. Of course they can romanticize their lives because they make money off of it. Easy. Anyway, that's just an example to kind of back up what I was saying about how the people who are on TikTok and social media telling you to romanticize your lives are making money doing it full time. So it's super easy for them to sit there and be like, do it. But then it's actually hard for the everyday person to do it in reality. Now, how the heck do you romanticize your life, right? We're talking a lot about this. If you don't really know this concept, you're not super familiar with it, you might be like, what do they even mean? How do you even do that? Because she just said, romanticize your life, but then she didn't tell you how to do it, right? So that's where Mackenzie Smith comes in on TikTok. She makes a video, how to romanticize your life. Let's see what she has to say.
What I hate is when someone tells you that something will work really well, but they don't tell you how to do it for yourself, right? So it's like gatekeeping without gatekeeping. And I feel like a lot of people are doing that lately about talking about romanticizing your life. I think if you want to romanticize your life, you actually need the steps to know that. So I'm going to give you guys a very detailed list here on what we're going to do and the steps we're going to take to actually romanticize your life and what's going to work for you. So the very first step is going to be that you need to figure out exactly what you would like your ideal life to look like. And this is going to take a little bit of research. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go on any of those like personality quiz type of apps. I'm serious. I want you to know your human design, your whole birth chart for astrology. I want you to know your Briggs-Meyer, your Enneagram, any of those types of things. I want you to have a detailed list of every single thing that you are and actually look into it and read up on it. Because at first, before we do anything else about...
Press on the screen, then I want you to write it all down, make a Pinterest board, whatever you need to get clear, can't read, on who you are and what you love. Now, this is what I was mentioning at the beginning. They tell you, picture your ideal life and your ideal person. And she is telling you, like, make a Pinterest board, write it down, like, get such a clear vision of it. And that was something I was kind of doing. Like, I was kind of falling victim to this because that's what they tell you to do, right? And my life is going to be so much better if I do. So it's like, I pictured like going and writing in my journal on the balcony and like drinking my coffee and like having all these like super like me time, romanticized, blah, blah, blah. Going for walks by myself around the city for hours, hot girl walks. That was a huge thing, whatever. And so this is kind of what I was talking about. Just further support that I'm not just like spewing bullshit out of my mouth. Like this is what they tell you to do. And I mentioned earlier, like I was doing that for a while. I was kind of picturing who would I want to be? What do I want my life to look like?
You need to know who you are, and it's fun. It's fun. Remember the old Cosmopolitan magazines and like the personality quizzes? Come on, it's fun. Just start there first. Then from there, I want you to forget about the vacation part of your life, that 20% or 10% of your life that's already going to be easy to romanticize, going out with friends, going to concerts, going on vacation.
Some people never go on vacation, so 20%. Generous. I am very lucky and privileged that we do get to go on vacation quite frequently. I want to acknowledge that right off the bat. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, cry me a river. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people don't even have that luxury. They only have enough money to get by in their day-to-day lives. So 20% out of touch.
Going to concerts, going on vacation, and we're going to think about the things in your day that are day-to-day things, daily tasks, weekly tasks, and things that you just don't look forward to. So let's make a list of all the things that we don't look forward to first.
She puts things like laundry, dishes, showering, getting ready, taking vitamins, cooking, work, commuting.
The things that are actually kind of messing up your flow and making your mental space a little crowded. What are those things for you? Then you're going to take those things and you're going to find ways to make that activity or that daily task funner, more aesthetic, more exciting, make it feel good. And I want you to go back to some of the things you learned about yourself when you took those personality quizzes and you figured out maybe you're a vintage baddie or you are a cottagecore type of gal. Think of these things as your...
Is that what your astrology tells you?
Think about a lot of things that you love, things that would describe your style, your aesthetic, your ideal home decor. Go to Pinterest, figure out what you like about these things, and don't worry, we're going to do this on a budget. Then there's a few things from here we can do. We can find out ways to make things more aesthetic. Hey, I thrifted a lot of my decor, my glasses, things that just make little things like cooking, like having my glass of water in the morning.
She puts on the screen things like fun glassware, dressing cute, fun robes, flowers in a vase are all ways to make these tasks a little more pleasing to your eyes. Just saying. I'm just saying. Yes, she said on a budget you can thrift. All these things involve going out and purchasing things. Yes, you can thrift, but like fun glassware, dressing cute, fun robes, flowers in a vase, those are all just spending money. Do we notice that? What can influencers do endlessly that normal people can't? Spend money.
Or my tea, things that I can do to make these tasks and these times of day more fun, more romantic, make me feel a little bougier, getting dressed, making things more aesthetically pleasing. So the first step is to find ways we can change the aesthetic around a lot of these times of day or tasks that we have to do. So change the aesthetic. Then, if you can't change the aesthetic, change the playlist, okay? Add music, make some playlists, find some cool people on Spotify, okay? And if you can't do that...
I'm sorry. Are we saying that listening to music while you do boring tasks is romanticizing your life? Or is that not just a normal thing that people do? Also, the way she goes to her freaking record player. Like, guys, I am a sucker for, not a sucker, but like, I fall for trends. I do, okay? And all the vintage stuff coming back, the record players that are now vintage. Sorry if you were around when record players were the way to listen to music. You're not vintage. Actually, vintage is a compliment. You're not old, you're vintage. That's anyway, I just probably offended people. I have fallen for it. I don't have a record player, but I've fallen for it and I want one. I really do. But it's like, I don't have one, okay? And record players, pretty expensive. Records themselves, expensive. So if you actually want to be able to play stuff on your record player, it's going to cost a lot of money. So of course, she would be like, add a playlist. If you can't do anything else, add a playlist. Goes to her freaking record player as an example. Like, girl, I know the point of this video isn't necessarily out of touch influencers, but that's just always an underlying theme. You know what I mean? If you missed my last video, the first one in this new channel and series we're doing, it was all about out of touch influencers. Very fun time.
And last but not least, if you can't find anything that you can do to make this more aesthetic or more entertaining or listen to something cool while you're doing it, pair it with something you love to do. Laundry, my glass of wine. It makes it fun.
This one just, I'm sorry, are we kids? Maybe people will hate on me for that because it's like, yeah, we should, like, just because you're a kid just because you're not a kid doesn't mean you can't do XYZ, whatever. But like, this is just giving like, if you finish your dinner and eat all your vegetables, you can have dessert. Like, I get that she was, I think, okay, here's the thing. This was posted in 2023, so it's a little bit older, but that's kind of probably when this was blowing up on TikTok. And I feel like she was probably just trying to capitalize on the search and the trend and how this was a very relevant topic to try to get views and stuff. So I'm assuming that was the main motivation for this, but it just feels like a lot of her tips aren't actually romanticizing your life. Because the thing is, when you see TikTokers and influencers really heavily promoting romanticizing life because it's their full-time job, like I said, they have like the most, like she was saying, aesthetic house and aesthetic decor and aesthetic routines and outfits and all the things. And like their entire day is just aesthetic because all they have to do is film a video of them romanticizing their life. That's their entire to-do list for the day. Their whole day is just beautiful and perfect because that's all they have to do. They don't have normal people things to do. So that's like the vision people have when they hear the word romanticize. But then the tips she gave, I don't feel like apply to that because hi, I listen to music when I do my laundry. I don't consider that romanticizing my life. I consider that giving myself some entertainment because I hate doing laundry, which I guess was her point. I don't feel like me listening to music while I'm folding my laundry translates to these really aesthetic, romanticized TikTokers and influencers and the things that they're promoting. It doesn't really make sense to me. But anyway, that's her tips on how to romanticize your life. She's got 69.5K followers on TikTok. Her bio says romanticize everything. I don't know what her life is. I don't know if she does this full time. I would assume not, just because she doesn't get a ton of views, but also she's a mom, so she might just be a stay-at-home mom doing this on the side. So I mean, it might be like her full-time thing, but it's not actually full-time because she's a full-time stay-at-home mom, but like she does this on the side, or maybe she has a job. I don't know. She has enough followers that she could do it as just like almost like a part-time job and then be a mom. Anyway, now that we've learned how to romanticize our lives, even though it doesn't really seem to apply to any of the things influencers actually do, let's enter our case study. All right. So case study for this video is a TikTok user called Simply Sanford Co. And before we even dive in, I want to be so clear. Her house is beautiful. Okay. It is unbelievable. It is so cute and so personalized. Like, it's not like the typical Pinterest boards you see of like a neutral aesthetic minimal home. It is so cute and colorful. There's flowers. There's like vintage things and thrifted vases and things. Like, it's super, super cute. I love it. All of it ties together. Her living room, her bedroom, her bathroom. You can tell they're all the same house. Like, they all just fit together so cohesively. So I want to be very clear. It is beautiful. I am not hating on her and her lifestyle and her space. Like, it is so beautiful. I will show you what my initial introduction into her life was, into her content. I came across this video where she says, de-influencing you from believing you need a big fancy house to create a home you love. So this was the first video from her that I saw. We're going to watch it real quick. So that was my first intro into her account. This was the first video I saw from her. Naturally, I clicked on her profile. I was like, that's super cute. Right at the top of her bio, it says cozy living curated for real life. But here's the thing. I wanted to dive into her profile after seeing this video because I'm just curious. She's got almost 100,000 followers on TikTok. She's got a contact email in her bio that is hello@simplysanfordco, which, if you don't know, that means she like owns that domain or whatever it's called, which isn't that expensive, but like expensive enough that like someone who doesn't do this full time probably wouldn't bother paying for it if it's just a hobby. So that's a little bit about her. And then she's got Shop My Home with a link to several things. She's got her Amazon storefront. She's got her LTK. She's got Etsy, Wayfair storefront, like all the shops and things. She can link all the products from her house. And then when people ask, which you'll see in the comments, people always ask because that's kind of the point. Where is that from? Oh my God, that's so cute. Where'd you get that? She can just direct them to her storefront and her LTK and stuff. And then she will get a commission when people buy her stuff. It's strategic. It's smart. I mean, she's making money. You go, girl. Do what you gotta do. But here's the thing that bothers me. It's not her house. Her house is amazing and beautiful. It's not her business concept. Like, you are clearly very talented in curating a home and designing a space and doing interior design. So, I mean, you should share it and you should make money off of the things that you put in there by selling them and getting commission because you're the one who found them and you're the one who put them all together and said, look how great this all goes. So like, not hating on any of that. What I don't like is some of her marketing, I guess you could call it, and the content she posts and how she phrases things is very targeted towards like romanticization and that whole concept. And, you know, it's kind of, it feels like it's trying to relate to you and me, the average everyday person. She's like, you don't need a big house to love it, right? But it's not about the size of the house. That's the thing. It's never necessarily been about the size of the house. Yes, there are all these influencers buying mansions and that's why they're unrelatable. But you don't need a mansion to be rich, you know? And you don't need a mansion to be unrelatable. So let's go back to that first video that I saw from her where she's saying de-influencing you from believing you need a big fancy house to create a home you love, which is true. You don't need that. You don't need a big fancy house to create a home you love. But here's the catch. The amount of money she has probably spent decorating this house perfectly and curating everything about it. I mean, you might as well buy a big fan. No, I'm kidding. But like, it's just, I feel like she's trying to say that to appeal to the average person who comes across her content, to be like, you can make your small house beautiful and amazing and you can love where you live. You don't need to go buy a big fancy house, right? And it's like, at first you're like, oh, that's really nice to hear. You're right, because there's so many people online promoting this life of luxury and buying really big fancy mansions. And so at first you might be like, that's really nice, that's refreshing to hear. But what you don't realize is you still would have to spend an ungodly amount of money to achieve this look. Like, you're not just going to get this in your small home for not a lot of money. Like, I feel like the way she's wording it is trying to mislead you to think that you can achieve this on a budget, because she's saying you don't need a big fancy house. You can make your small house cozy and you can love it. And that like implies you don't need a lot of money. You can do it on a budget, even though she doesn't say that directly, explicitly. That's what it implies, but it's not true. She spent so much money putting this house together. And again, you do you. It's beautiful. I love it. If I could spend this much money and put a house together like this, I would, but I just can't. That's not realistic for me. And so that's the part that I don't like, is how she's approaching, I guess, trying to get viewers and get them, draw them in, and how she's wording things. And it works. That's the thing, is so many of the comments are like, oh my God, it's beautiful, obviously, because it is. But one person did point this out, what I'm saying. They said, this is still fancy and expensive, just not as modernized, which sure, not as modernized, but I don't really care about the modern part. Like, I'm just saying it's still fancy and expensive. Maybe it's not a big mansion, but your house inside, the way you decorated it, is still fancy and expensive. That's like the only person that I've seen point this out, though, and they hardly have any likes, no replies. So I'm like, do people not see this? Because this is just part of this like toxic romanticize your life culture. It's like all these people are like, oh my God, it's beautiful. You know what? You're so right. I can do this too. But like, no, you can't. I'm sorry. You can't achieve this if you're not rich. This is just too expensive. But it's doing exactly what she wants. OMG, where's that heart pillow from? So cute. She says, I got it from a shop on Etsy, linked in my LTK. Where do you get your flowers from? Like, all of them. They are gorgeous. And she says she gets them from a local business nearby. This person says, well, this is the most beautiful home I've ever seen. Where can I find all the gold square wall frames? She'll link them. Love the spring decor. It's so whimsical. Your home is so beautiful. Your home is the whimsical home. This because we'll probably be in an apartment for the next decade. LOL. But Cassidy, honey, if you're in an apartment because you can't afford anything, then you're not gonna be able to afford to make it look like this. That's the thing. Like, how are people not getting this? I don't get it. All of the comments are so, now I sound like a hater. Like, I'm not saying people should go flood our comments with negativity. I guess that's what it sounds like I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just kind of surprised that there aren't more people calling her out for it, because I feel like TikTok comments can be ruthless. I'm just kind of surprised there aren't more people being like, girl, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's small, but it's still hella expensive. So don't act like this is achievable for the average everyday person like you're acting. Like, I'm kind of just surprised there aren't more people calling her out for that. I'm not saying she should be getting hate comments. Again, it's a beautiful home, but I'm just kind of surprised. So that was my first introduction to her. Then, of course, I started looking around a little bit more at her account, just kind of get a vibe and get a feel for like the type of content she posts, the type of lifestyle she claims to be living. Obviously, we never know what's actually happening behind the scenes, but what she's putting out there is what we're just going to assume is her lifestyle, right? Because that's what she's letting us see. And if it's fake, I mean, that's her choice, but this is what she claims. So the second video I found from her, and this is what really sealed the deal for me, was her sitting in her bed reading a book saying, stop being afraid of being disliked by losers, and wearing her red light therapy mask. And these things, if you don't know, are like hundreds of dollars, like $500. And probably pseudoscience in my opinion, but maybe not. I don't know. But hundreds and hundreds, like not some, oh my God, her dog is wearing an eye mask. Sorry, I just noticed that. She has a really cute dog, a Samoyed. Oh my gosh. But like the average person is not going to spend money, hundreds of dollars on a red light therapy mask. Like they can't justify it, but also like, why would we? Because it's probably useless. But this is my second video I saw from her, and this is just like so influencer coded, because all of them do this. They all have the red light therapy mask. They all promote it and act like this is obviously supposed to be a super romanticized like night in her life of like the red light mask, reading in bed with her dog, the lamp is beautiful, the flowers on the nightstand. Like, it's just, this is not real. This is not realistic. I'm sorry. Comments, I need this energy and this whole aesthetic. Like, this seems so wholesome and like not a big deal, but it's like these people, this is her target audience. And these people are seeing this and they're like, I need this. I need to do this. But it's like, they will be so disappointed with the rude awakening when they realize that they can't afford to do this. They cannot make this their whole aesthetic. Even though she tries to make it seem like she's so relatable and like, I have a tiny house, but I still made it beautiful and I love it. I don't need a big house. Like, no, but you still need a lot of money. Okay. Anyway, that was my second video I saw from her. And that was, like I said, kind of what sealed the deal, because I'm like, okay, you're reading in bed with a $500 red light mask on. Like, if I was unsure of how much money you have before, it's pretty clear now. Then I found this video of her doing a little Easter brunch setup, which this seems to be a pretty big thing that people do on their accounts when their whole like brand is their home and their decor and hosting and things. And again, let me say, this is adorable. She has such an eye for this stuff. She's very talented. It is so beautiful. But again, this specifically is just super unrealistic because nobody who's hosting an Easter brunch is going to go all out like this, and is going to even be able to, because the brunch itself is going to be expensive to host depending on how many people you have. Like, there's no way we're all going to get like beautiful tablescapes and dishware and all the things. Like, it's just so unrealistic and it's not relatable at all. It's another thing where it's like people see this and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want to host a beautiful gathering like that, but oh, I can't because I can't afford it. It is really cute and creative. I can appreciate it, even though I don't like the message to her followers who don't have any money. Also, it says paid partnership at the bottom, so this was also probably just made to like make money off of all the products. She probably got a bunch of them for free from whatever the brand is. You think she's trying to go for like the trad wife look? Because I feel like that's what she's doing, the way that she's like placing things, and she's wearing a dress, which is fine, but you know, listen, that is super cute. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's adorable, but it's just not realistic. Everyone loves it. This person said beautiful, but there's nothing to eat. That's kind of funny. I mean, everyone loves it. It's super cute. It's just not realistic, right? Unrelatable. And some of her other content seems like she's trying to go for relatable. So that's why that one kind of stuck out to me. Like, this is not relatable. This isn't realistic for anyone. And then our final video from her is the one we're kind of gonna dive into a little bit more, because she makes like a morning around her house video. Like, I think she says like, let's wake up the house or light up the house or whatever. This is a helpful video because she goes into all the different rooms. You know, she goes to her bedroom and then her bathroom and then the living room and all the things. And so you're seeing like the beautiful house that she's created. And again, it is beautiful. How many times can I say that? But you also get a look at the furniture. And by doing a little Google search, or she makes it easy for you going to her shops and her links where you can just buy directly from her page and see exactly what she has, you will see how expensive this home really is. It may be small, as she claims. I don't know how big it is. She says it's small. It may be small, but it is still hella expensive. She says, let's wake this place up. That's what she says. Her dog is so cute. So that's the whole video. You get to see a lot of her house in that video. Again, super cute, adorable, love it. But I did everyone the favor of going through her LTK and her Amazon storefront and kind of picking out some of the items that I definitely saw in the video that she does currently have. Now, everything she has on there, I assume she has somewhere, even if I didn't see it in the video, or did have, because why would she be linking it if she didn't have it or doesn't have it? But I specifically was looking for things that I saw like, oh yeah, she had that in her living room, or she had that in her bedroom. And let me just be clear, there's so much linked on her LTK and her Amazon storefront, like so much. Okay. So much. So it would be pretty much impossible for me to find very specifics of every single room. I thought about going through and like looking at her living room, like a shot of it, and looking for every single piece and adding it all. That would just take so long. And it was crazy. Also, I don't know, maybe I just don't know anything about LTK. I was new to the site. I've never used it before, but it wasn't easy to like navigate or like filter. Like there wasn't really any filters except for like, I don't know, I think it was like what was trending. And like that was it. So it was kind of hard to navigate. So that would have been really difficult to do. but I did find just random things that she definitely had in the video. For example, her living room curtains. Someone asked her about these and she quoted them directly, and then I found them, cited them. I don't know. So her living room curtains she got were $89.99 for one panel. Now, I don't know how many windows she had in her living room because she only really shows like this one shot of it. She obviously had 2 panels on that window, depending on the size of her house. She says it's small, so that might be the only window in the living room. She might have more, but in that one shot, she for sure had 2 panels, and they're $90 a panel, which is crazy. And that's just for curtains. I know there are more expensive curtains out there, but just $90 for one curtain. Then just scrolling a little further, I discovered that she has an $1,800 dining table. She has $1,600 dining sofas. So I think it's in the very beginning of the video. You see like that little breakfast nook that she has with the circular table and the little like corner booth where you sit. I think those are the sofas. That's what it looked like, at least. $1,600 for those. She has a 5x8 rug, which is pretty small. That was $720. Like the rug I'm currently sitting on that you can't see in this angle, but the rug in our living room, it was from Target. It's like 8x10, I think, and it was $200, and that was a splurge. Like that's a lot. Rugs are really expensive, but I really wanted a rug in the living room. This is my first rug ever, and it was worth it because $200 is cheap for that size rug. Like that's like really good if you don't know, if you're not familiar with rugs. So that's like a really good price for this size, but it was still like a lot to spend. Like that's a lot to spend on one rug, and she got a 5x8 size for $720. Then she's got a chandelier in one of the rooms that's $700. She has a small heart pillow. It's one of the ones that was like really highlighted in that shot where it was sitting on the little chair. And she's had lots of comments on it too. People are like, oh my God, where'd you get this? It's $50. Now I want to do a little disclaimer here. This one's from Etsy. So I think that's totally fine. You're supporting a small business. It's very likely handmade. I mean, it is, unless it's one of those really unethical Etsy shop drop shippers, but it is handmade. So like definitely worth $50, and the seller should definitely be charging what they are worth. But I'm just saying that's another example of like she's able to support a small business and buy a $50 heart pillow from them. Then get ready for this. The most expensive item I found, which once again, there were so many things. There's probably more out there, but the most expensive one I found that was definitely in the video was her sectional couch, which was $4,400. Also, let me point out that some of these items are now on sale. I don't know how long she's had them. I don't know when they went on sale. Maybe she got them on sale. I feel like probably not, because she's been doing this for a while. So I assume that some of these products might be a few years old. Some of the products she got from like Wayfair and stuff, so they might be like running out of stock and kind of phasing that out. So now they're on sale to get rid of the last few. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know her finances. I have no idea how much she spent, but I'm telling you like full price what these products cost normally, because obviously products are not always on sale. It's usually a short-term thing. Next, she has a really fancy bed. That was a storage bed. So it's got like drawers underneath, which is super helpful. She does have some cool life hacks for like how they create more storage in a small home. So this was one of the things that she mentioned, which is awesome, but again, hella expensive. This bed is $3,700. And then her nightstands are $600 per nightstand. Now, I will point out the shot that she shows of her bedroom, it only shows the bed and the nightstand, like one side of it, while she's like getting stuff, whatever. So I don't know if she has one on the other side. She does say she has a small house, so maybe the bedrooms are small and maybe she only has one nightstand. I don't know, because she only shows that one shot of her bedroom. But even so, even if you only have one, it's $600 for one nightstand. But assuming she has two, because typically people will have two if there's room, $1,200 for two nightstands. And then this is just the cherry on top to me, because it's such a small thing and it's so expensive. And it's like, for what? Her faucet, her beautiful gold faucet in her kitchen is $100. It's actually over $100 for a faucet. That just hurts. I'm like, I don't know if I could ever spend $100. And you know what? Maybe I could. If I had a lot of money, maybe I could. It's only $100, right? If you have a lot of money, that's not that much. But like for a faucet, that's a lot of money. Anyway, that was kind of the cherry on top for me. I was like, okay, she spent $100 on a gold faucet. So we are not in the same tax bracket, obviously. And I will conclude all my prices there. If you're curious, you can go to her profile, you can find her LTK, and you can look through more and see even more expensive products. These were just some of the ones that really jumped out at me. $700 for a 5x8 rug is just so insane to me. I think the rug in our bedroom is 5x8. because I remember thinking that that was smaller than it was and being like, oh no, this will look nice, like it'll fit well, but it's still like, it's pretty small, but like it fits well in our bedroom because we have small bedrooms. And it was like $50 on Amazon and she spent $700 on one. That's just crazy. I cannot conceptualize having $700 to spend on a 5x8 rug. Also, I'm pretty sure it was like a pretty bland rug. Like listen, we don't have to make this personal. It's your style, you choose. But like, it didn't even look like a fancy, like bougie rug. Like it was just like beige. Anyway, that concludes my little sleuthing of seeing how much some of this furniture costs. And that concludes our little case study of Simply Sanford Co. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm not hating on her or her home or her as a creator. I think her home is beautiful and lovely. And honestly, I'm happy for her that she can just make her home beautiful and make money off of that. And like, that's the life she lives. Like, damn, wouldn't we all if we could? But like I said earlier, I just don't like the messaging of, oh, I have a small house and I still make it beautiful. I'm so relatable. But it's like, no, you still have a ton of money. Maybe you don't have a big house, but you still have a lot of money. And that's kind of the theme of this whole video, right? The whole romanticize your life thing, romanticize your space is kind of how I view that last case study example. These people can sit there and preach all day long, romanticize your life, do things that make you happy, make your life aesthetic. But it's really easy to say that when you are sitting on cash, like when you literally get paid to make videos about romanticizing your life, then yeah, it's going to be hella easy to romanticize your life. But when you get paid to sit at a corporate 9-to-5 job and not romanticize your life, it's really hard to find the time and the money and the energy to then romanticize your life. I just wish these people had a little bit more self-awareness, I guess. They're just too out of touch with the real world to realize that it's not that easy to romanticize your life. And promoting it like this, I think, is really toxic. Like I said, I did fall victim to it for a while. I tried to kind of have this vision of what my romanticized life would look like. And it just left me feeling really shitty about myself when I couldn't do those things. Like I was like, why can't I do this? I'm such a waste of space. Like I can't even journal. Like, no, the average person can't. The average person can't find time for all these things. So if you did come into this video pro romanticizing your life, I'm curious if I changed your mind, or if you're at least a little bit more open-minded to the fact that it could potentially be toxic to certain people, maybe. At the end of the day, just do whatever makes you happy. Do whatever you can afford for your lifestyle. Don't go into debt to do these things because they say you should online and you feel like you should. Like if you feel like it'll make your life better and make you happier, like don't go into debt to do this stuff. Do whatever is feasible for you and whatever will actually make you happy. If it is feasible for you to buy some of this more expensive furniture and that will make you happy, do it. But if it's not feasible, don't sit there and be like, oh, I have to do this, you know, like just do whatever works for you, do whatever makes you happy. At the end of the day, I think experiences and time spent with family and friends and loved ones is going to make you a lot happier than material things. But I'm not trying to hate on material things either because hello, I love decorating my house. I just recently did an entire bedroom makeover for a lot cheaper than this girl did it. Like I'm definitely not a materialism hater. I will be the first one to say I love a good like vase for flowers or frames to put photos on my wall. Like I'm not saying don't buy stuff, but I'm just saying these people have a lot of money and it's their job to make their life aesthetic and perfect and beautiful. And it's an expensive lifestyle to keep up. But again, it's their job, so they can. It's really easy for them actually because they get paid to do it, whereas you and me don't. So just think about that next time you're starting to feel crappy about your non-aesthetic life, seeing this content and feeling like you just, you know, just bleh. That's how it makes me feel. Anyway, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. So please chime in the comments below. Did I change your mind? Did you come here already hating the romanticization and now you feel validated? Let me know what you think. And once again, if you like this type of content, please subscribe to my new channel, Rachel's Yappuccinos. Again, we're not sure where it's going to go long term. Maybe I'll try it a few months and I'll be like, it's not worth the work. I don't know. But if you like this content, subscribing to that channel will let me know and will help inform my decision down the road of whether or not it's worth having the two different channels. Comment things below that you would like me to look into too, to make videos on anti-influencer culture, anti-toxic TikTok culture, all of the things that you see on social media that just make you want to bash your head into a wall. Let me know which ones you want me to look into and make content about in the future. And if you are just really searching for some real life content and some authenticity in this world of fake influencers, be sure to check out my other channel, Rachel Marie. That's my main channel. And that is where I post a lot of also cozy vlog home coffee content, but much more realistic because I am not a rich influencer making a ton of money off of this and getting paid to romanticize my life like these people are. So be sure to do those things. Subscribe, like, comment, all the things, and I will see you in the next video.